Hi everyone, Svetlana Sotek here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a simple pillow cover for your throw cushion and how to add this contrasting flap to cover your zipper and also add a little bit of interest to the back of your cushion. And this pillow cover finishes at 17 inches square, which is a perfect fit for an 18-inch pillow form, or if you're using centimeters, the finished cover is 43 centimeters square and it fits a 45 centimeter pillow form. Now you have a few options when it comes to designing your pillow cover. So you can, for example, do what I did for this pillow. So use one print fabric for the front of the cushion and use the same fabric for the contrasting flap and do the backing in a completely different coordinating fabric. Or what I did for this cushion right here, I used the front and back. I used the same fabric and just use the contrasting fabric for the flap. Or you can simply use one fabric for the whole cushion and the flap. It's totally up to you. To make this cushion, you will need an 18-inch square of fabric for the front of your pillow. You will need 2 panels for the backing. The top panel will be 18 inches wide by 7 inches tall. And the bottom panel will be 11 inches tall by 18 inches wide. And then you will also need a contrasting flap to cover your zipper, and that's going to be 2.5 inches tall by 18 inches wide. I recommend that you wash your fabric and press it before you cut, because this will be a cushion cover. It gets washed, we don't want it to be shrinking. And also it's best if you use maybe home decor fabric, canvas, denim, some fabric that gives you a little bit of structure. I don't think quilting cotton is really great for this kind of a pillow because we are not going to be adding any interfacing. And you will also need a standard number 3 nylon zipper. You need one that is at least 20 inches long. So first thing we need to do is to go all the way around all the panels that we cut out with the zigzag stitch on our machine, just to finish all the edges. And as you can see, I already went ahead and did that for all my panels. So all of them, okay? Front, both of the backings and the flap, just go all the way around to finish the edges. Or if you have an overlock machine, that would be perfect for this. Next, we're going to get our flap ready. So I placed it here on my pressing board. I give it one good press. And I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise. So first I'm going to finger press it. And then use a hot iron on cotton setting and lots of steam to give it a nice crisp edge. And be careful when you do this step, because the iron is really hot. So you don't want to burn yourself. Okay, now that the panels are all ready, it's time to start putting our pillow cover together. So place your bottom back panel, so it's the one that's 18 inches wide by 11 inches tall. Place it right side up on your work surface. And now bring your nylon zipper and place it right side down along the top edge. Okay, the zipper is going to be sticking out on both sides, which is perfectly fine because we are going to trim it down to size. And since this is a nylon zipper, it's totally fine to cut it with utility scissors and actually even sew over it, so your machine shouldn't have any trouble with that. So I got my zipper ready and I'm going to stitch along this top edge right here using slightly less than 1/4 inch seam allowance. And it's probably a good idea for you to put a zipper foot on your sewing machine so you can do that slightly less than 1/4 inch seam allowance right here. All right, and once it's pressed, the zipper is stitched on. just press the seam away from the zipper. Finger pressing is fine, but you can also use your iron if you prefer. And now we are going to stitch along this sewn edge right here using 1/8 inch seam allowance. All right, next we need to attach our fabric flap to cover the zipper. So we've already prepared it and pressed it in half, and now I'm going to place it along the top edge of the zipper. See, so the raw edge of the tab is flush with the top edge of the zipper tape, like so. And now we are going to add also the top back panel. Now I don't have a directional fabric, so it doesn't make a difference for me, but if you had a directional fabric, first place it right side up like that and then fold it down. Okay, line it up again with the tab and your zipper, and now use some clips or pins to hold all 3 layers together, like so. Here we go. Make sure it's all lined up nicely. So let me show you again. So this is the top panel, here's the flap, and here's the back panel, and the zipper is sandwiched in between right here. And I'm going to take this pillow back to my sewing machine and again stitch along this edge right here using slightly smaller than 1/4 inch seam allowance, just like we did for the first side of the zipper. And I will back stitch at the beginning and end just to secure the stitches. Now bring your panel to your pressing board and use your iron to go over, just set the stitches a little bit right here, and now open up the top side of the back panel like so. Leave the flap in the down position and the top panel goes up, and press along this seam right here. And a nice good press. Here we go. And again, I'm going to take this panel back to my sewing machine and stitch along this edge right here using 1/8 inch seam allowance, just to give it a nice neat finish. Okay, so this is what the panel looks like at this point. I went ahead and did the top stitching along the flap right here, and we have our backing panel almost ready. So what we need to do now is open up the zipper about halfway, like so. Bring the flap back down, and I am going to use 2 sewing clips to hold the flap right here in place so it doesn't open up on me when I'm doing the stitching. So use the clip right here, see, and everything needs to be nice and flat right here. And your panel at this point should be about 18 inches long. Mine is slightly shorter, but it's okay, it won't show when I'm doing the final assembly. So I'll take the panel now to the sewing machine and stitch along these edges right here so I can shorten my zipper, and also I will hold my flap in place. Now, one thing before we start stitching, I wanted to point out, as you can see, there is this metal end of the zipper. I want to make sure it is sticking out. I will not be sewing over it. So it's totally fine to sew over these nylon coils, not the ends of the zipper, okay? That would break your needle. So I'm going to stitch along this edge right here. One side, and then the other side. And again, this is the open side of the zipper. Our zipper pull is here in the middle, so I'm holding it nice and flat here. All that's left to do on our back panel is to trim off these zipper ends. And I'm going to use my utility scissors to do that. So don't use your good fabric scissors for this step, okay? because you would just dull them unnecessarily. So trim it off flush with the panels like that. And again, here is our zipper nicely covered by the flap. So this is what the front of the back panel looks like, and here is the back. And now that the back panel is all finished, it's time for the final assembly. So I placed my front panel right side up on a nice flat work surface, and I'm going to place my back panel right side down along the front panel, like so. I'm going to line up all the edges right here. So again, right sides of both front and back panels are together. Do it like that. Here we go. Smooth everything out. Also make sure your zipper is open about halfway. Everything is nice and smooth, and I'm going to use a few sewing clips to hold the panels together. Alright, so the panels are clipped together, my backing, my front panel. As you can see, again, their panels are right sides together, and I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch all the way around the panel using 1/2 inch seam allowance, back stitching at the end. And I usually like to sew along the front panel because I know it's exactly 18 inches square, and it will give me a nice flat guide. I'm now going to press around the edges of the pillow cover just to set the stitches a little bit along all the edges. And I will use my fabric shears to trim off the corners. Just a little bit, don't go too close to your stitching, because you don't want to cut the hole through your stitching, but just reduce on the bulk a little bit. And it's time to turn the pillow cover right side out. So I'm gonna open it through this zipper. So open up the zipper all the way and turn the pillow cover right side out. I'm going to use my fingers just to gently push the corners out. Now don't be too rough with that. It doesn't have to be a perfect corner because it's a cushion after all. But just make it nice and neat. And I also like to run my fingers along the seams on the inside to smooth them out a little bit. It seems like it gives the finish cushion a little bit nicer edges. I'm going to close the zipper, and at this point it's a good idea to give your cushion one more press. Just a quick one. And it's time to put the pillow form in. So open up your cover and place the pillow form inside the cover. I like to make sure that the corners are neatly pushed inside the pillow cover, like so. And you see, because the cover is slightly smaller than the pillow, it gives us nice fluffy throw pillow. Here we go. And here is our finished throw pillow. So front and a nice back with a contrasting flap that hides your zipper. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and please push a like button if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Bye!